Good afternoon, I'm Sam Adler, and while everything is being rearranged, I'm supposed to say a few words just to keep the process moving. And I'm very happy to do this, and I also want to thank everybody that's responsible for this very moving occasion as far as I'm concerned. I want to say a few words about my father's music. You see, I think every little piece that's being done this afternoon has a story. And so therefore, perhaps you recognize the second piece. Many of you know that it also is sung to the text of Bauer's Zur. And it happened this way. My father was always very interested in Renaissance music, and I think you can tell by the way he sets the text that he was interested in that. And he was interested in what happened in Italy during the Renaissance. There was a composer, Benedetto Marcello. He wrote a lot of music, secular and sacred. And he was interested in going into the synagogue in Mantua to try to find tunes that he could use, especially psalm tunes. And he actually notated 50 tunes that he heard in the synagogue. Actually, only one or two of them made it to our own time, but the one you heard, By the Waters of Babylon, is also sung to Ma'oz Tzur, Rock of Ages, on Hanukkah. My father loved this tune, set it both to Ma'oz Tzur and By the Waters of Babylon. There's one other tune that Marcello notated, and that is for the 19th Psalm, the heavens declare the glory of God. My father also set that one. You see, Marcello did not harmonize the tunes, and so it was easy to just steal the tune from him, and that's it. It wasn't his original even. The first piece that you heard was from a very large service of my father's called Nachalat Yisrael, which he wrote in the very early 60s. In the very early 50s. And this piece is a very large work. He did have a choir in Worcester, and since I was 12 years old, I was made to conduct this choir. That was always great. I mean, from the time I was 12, I was a little boy, and all these people had white hair, so this was okay. And they just loved me for it. It was always great. As a matter of fact, there are some Worcester people here today, which is great. I grew up in this area and still love it as before. The last piece you heard of my father's was written upon my entry into the U.S. Army. Our family was not an Army family, and I was scared to death of having to go into the Army. He had served in the First World War, my father, had been wounded in the First World War, was on the wrong side, of course, and he wrote this piece the week that I went to Fort Devens to be enlisted in the U.S. Army. And I really think that because he wrote this piece, my life was saved. And I got through unscathed. Now, about my own music, you're going to hear three pieces. One is a work for tenor, a chorus, and organ or piano. I prefer the piano in this certain era, but it was written for organ originally and was written for an ecumenical music festival in Chicago where they wanted the 23rd Psalm to be sung by a cantor in Hebrew while the chorus sings the same text in English. I always love to do that because that gives you the original and then a wonderful translation of it. You'll hear it today by a young man The cantor will be a young man who I've known since he was really a young man, since he was a freshman at Eastman School. And it's great to be united with him again today. The second piece was written on a commission for an Israeli mezzo-soprano who had friends in Berlin. And since I teach in Berlin every summer, and they performed it at the American Academy in Berlin. It is a text from the Song of Songs in Hebrew, and the clarinetist was the principal clarinet of the first performance with this mezzo-soprano and her friend, who is the wife of the principal clarinetist of the Berlin Philharmonic, and they did the first performance there. It is a vastly changing atmosphere, constantly listless, because the Song of Songs is, in my estimation, that way. It doesn't ever settle down, because the fellow saying the things, those beautiful things about this woman, is so excited by her that he can't really rest. The last piece was written for a festival commemorating the armistice of the First World War, our Armistice Day, or now it's called Army Day or something, I forgot. Anyway, it was written for a very large chorus and is based on trop. I'm sure many of you will recognize the beginning melody, and it is not the Isaiah chapter, but rather the Micah chapter on "They will beat their swords into plowshares." I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.